time.
Oh my God. We're on live and I didn't even do the opening. Good morning, everybody, and welcome.
You can't do the opening?
I can. Let me see. Good morning, everybody. Let's see if I could do it in the midst of it. Well, that was an interesting way to start the show. What the hell was that? And you know what? I think I got you going like this.
Yeah, like this. Because today I feel vain today. Like, oh, I'm going from cheeks to jowls.
Oh my gosh. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. So I see that it doesn't look like anybody's actually, like, nobody jumped on first thing. I don't know. Or maybe Paul Ritchie. Maybe he saw it. I don't know. But for those that are watching at a later time, you get to see the that morning thing. So good morning, everyone. And yes, so welcome. I am the Badass Buddha, Lori Monaco. I am your chiropractic physician, your teacher, speaker, coach, your wellness specialist, and your weight loss specialist, and soon to be author. So welcome. Happy Thursday.
Good morning, buenos dias, Badass Buddha. Good morning, tribe. I am La Margarita, known as the Gladiator Guru. I am your sacred healer, your spiritual and creative healing life coach. I am your end of life doula. I love the way that rolls off my tongue.
I know.
I am your writer, author, artist, notary, wedding officiant, and fasting. Remember, I
forgot what I was going to say.
Orgasmic. I am. Today is just a beautiful day. The sun is out. It's not that cold. And yes, good morning, buenos dias, namaste. What's in your cup? Everybody, please tell me what's in your cup. Oh, Bo Richie, Chenille, buenos dias. And mine is Café La Llave. That's what's in my cup. I even forgot.
Mine is Kringle Crunch. I went to TJ Maxx, so I got like 3 different bags of coffee. So this is Kringle Crunch. Isn't it cute? Getting ready for the holidays.
It's adorable. Who can tell me what's the purpose of a penguin? They're adorable, but where are they?
The irony is penguins are always associated with Christmas, but penguins, I believe, are from the South Pole, right? They're in Antarctica, aren't they? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're in the Arctic too. But Santa Claus is supposed to be in the North Pole in Antarctica. So anyway, this is
I know penguins that are in Madagascar, so I don't know. They're all over the place.
French roasted pecans and gooey praline mix. Ooh, that sounds yummy, right? Poured over a batch of sinful white chocolate fudge. Do I taste all that in the coffee? Not necessarily. It tastes like coffee to me. It smells great, but I don't taste all that stuff. Maybe a little bit.
I love praline. I love it. Like
I do too.
The end of November. But Chenille says hers is brewing. It's a local New Colombian coffee place in Bristol called Viva Cafe. Yes.
I love when they have really catchy names, these coffee shops. Like there's one in New Haven called Deja Brew.
Oh my God. Have you been to Pistachios in West Haven?
No.
Everything's pistachio. And then they give you a cup. And then it has the foam, and then it has pistachio sprinkled on top and rose petals.
You drink the rose petals?
Yeah. Look at Erica Balahala. Good morning. I'm sorry, Badass.
And Vicky Dowling. Good morning, Vicky. And we didn't say good morning out loud to Chenille, but good morning, Chenille. So yes, put your coffee on there. If you don't drink coffee, put your tea on there. And for those of you that watch after the fact, yes, Gladiator Guru and I suck at checking comments after the fact. So we are definitely all about the live broadcast. I will admit that. But we are slowly, it's only taken us like almost 2 years, but we're slowly getting into checking these after. So please make comments, in the comments section if you're watching this at a later time. Good morning, Francia. Good
Buenos dias.
rising. Good
Another one.
rising,
Look
everyone.
at her. It's another local cool name, Purgatory Coffee Roaster. Well, Chanel, my coffee's name is fantastic. It is. Oh, you can't even see it. Here it is. It is Cricket's Whispers Naturally Orgasmic Cafe Company. So just wait. It's coming out soon.
Oh my gosh, we
And I'm
can't
going to do
wait.
my soft launch is going to happen here in Connecticut before I go back to Florida. So stay tuned for Cricket's Whispers Naturally Orgasmic. And then on the other side of the cup, it's going to tell you, if you can see,
Can't, it's too
here
light.
it is.
Oh, there
Here
we
it
go.
is.
Move it over. Be magically
That's
orgasmic.
to be magically orgasmic in your day. So yeah, so stay tuned, mi gente.
So listen, since you're going to have your soft launch, since we will have a booth at Augusta tu Corona, get information. You can sign up, get on Gladiator Guru's mailing list. So if you are ready to get that coffee when it's ready to come out, she wants you on that list. So we're going to have all kinds of goodies at our booth. We're going to be broadcasting live. We're going to have tribe members on. So get your tickets, seriously, okay? Have fun with us. Get your tickets. It's going to be so much. It's just going to be such a great, empowering time. And for those of you that already got your tickets, fabulous. Let's all sit together at the table, because I don't know who I'm sitting with yet. So let's all sit together at the table. But for those of you that have not got, purchased your tickets yet, go to austatucorona.com. It's going to be a crazy, fun, busy time. It's just going to be awesome with all these women.
And there's going to be raffles, so bring your
Yeah,
wallet.
yeah,
There's going to
yeah,
be merchants because we're going to be there. So yeah, so let's just
absolutely.
let's invest in ourselves and collaborate with one another and support small businesses. That's what we got to do. But it's ajustatucorona.com/events because if
Well,
you
it
go,
brings you to that page, and then you
it
hit
does.
the events. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you just go to that page, and then it brings you to the events. But I
So
will put it that way in the chat, though. How's that?
how
I'll put
you're just fucking phenomenal this uh
it.
Thursday morning. Yeah.
Not so much, because what did I do? I started the broadcast before the.
That's just because you were excited to get started. Stop selling yourself short.
So, all right. So let's get rocking and rolling, because we have our beautiful Karen Sammer on today, and she's going to be, and it's so, I'm very excited about her conversation, because she's taking the breast cancer awareness to she's gonna offer things a little bit differently, for us. And it's not taking away as far as the meaning, because she's very big on this, but she's gonna make us aware of things that are sort of getting us into a direction that maybe we shouldn't be as focused on, or whatever. So and it's
I'm so
so much
excited.
fun. It's always so much fun to have Karen on.
It
So
is.
she'll be on shortly. So let's do our intention. Let's set the intention for the day and do our mantra.
My intention suits me perfect today. Says this morning is about me and Mother Nature. One with Mother Nature. Why? Because if you seek Mother Nature, for every ailment, she provides a cure. So that's mine. This morning is about me and Mother Nature.
So what's the intention? What are you setting the intention for the day? Say it again.
Girl, I just said it like 3 times. This morning is about me and Mother Nature. I am one with
That's the
Mother
intention.
Nature. For every ailment, she provides a cure.
Okay. So you're setting the intention to be one with Mother Nature.
Today is going to be all about that.
Okay. And the mantra for today is, I am my own cure. That's your mantra. I am my own hero.
Wow, I like that. Powerful. But yeah, I can't wait for today's conversation because it reminds me of the ALS, how ALS month was in May, and I have a lot of things about that too. So yes,
Yep. I
when you,
agree.
when you live through something, you understand it. When you're standing on the sideline supporting something that you believe in, but you don't know what it entails and what little support you actually get from that, yeah, it's
Well,
very.
and
Let me
I
get my
think
AK-47 to that event. Yeah, that's how you feel. Go ahead.
well, and I think too that we what happens is I think that, and it's with anything. I'm glad you brought up ALS because it doesn't matter what the disease is, or even what the cause is. It doesn't even have to be a disease. Whenever there's a cause,
Mm-hmm.
it starts out on the right, like with the right intentions in place, making people aware, blah blah blah. Then they start to get kitschy and they say, well, let's get more people involved, let's do it this way. And we get so caught up on what the real meaning is, that like, or I'm sorry, we get so caught up on the way it's coming out that we forget what the actual real meaning is, right? And so if you were to ask some people sometimes, hey, you know what is what does this mean? Like they'll be wearing a shirt, or they'll be like, putting a hashtag up or something like that. You say, what's the meaning behind this? And someone will be like, oh, I don't know. It's like this, and this. So they're sharing it, but they don't really know what it means. Now, some could say, well, that's kind of good though, that they're sharing it, that they're sharing and it's still getting out there. But if you don't even know what you're sharing or why you're doing it, then I don't even know if that's actually helpful sometimes,
Yeah, because breast cancer is huge, right?
Mhm.
ALS is not. So one out of every 10 people you will meet will not know what the hell is ALS. So then you try
Right.
to, do it in layman's terms. What did Lou Gehrig, the New York Yankees, you know. So then you have to give the and what is it, and how do they get healed? And I said, we started off with there's no cure. So it's frustrating. They make this month about it, but it's all about donating to a cause, but not explaining the cause. It's about, let's do this walk for ALS, but for my husband to roll in his wheelchair, we had to get $1,500 just so he can get a free T-shirt and be able to walk or roll in his wheelchair in this walk that was supposed to be for them. So yeah, so I can't wait for what Karen has to say, and I'm not gonna say much on my
Really?
opinions, on my
Really?
reality, and my experience of
I
what
don't
these things do.
I
So
don't know if that's possible.
I'm going to try.
You don't have to stifle yourself. That's the whole point of the show, is for us to
I'm
like.
going to try so we can listen to Karen and this month of breast
Well, you
cancer.
know what? Let's stop just talking about Karen and let's bring Karen up. How's
Let's
that?
come
Like
on down,
usually
Karen.
we're like at 8:20 going, still talking away, and we got to bring the guest on. But I think Karen needs to just come on right now. So, and we'll have Karen introduce herself to those that do not know her. So there she is. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, ladies. Oh,
All
thank you
right.
so much. I missed you. I
I
missed you.
know. We need to get you up here for that event. Augusta
I'm
de
gonna
Corona.
I'm gonna
How
look into
far are
that.
you? How far of a drive is it for to you?
To
You're in
Connecticut?
Jersey. You're in Jersey,
Oh,
right?
I don't know. For you, yeah, a couple hours. It's not
Okay.
not big. Why am
Have
I
to
so large in this screen?
I
just
didn't
pull
know.
back,
Pull back.
and
Let me just
or
do
we
this.
could all come closer if it makes
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel.
yeah. Yeah. Come on closer.
I try to get like every so often. I'll see like my head is higher than all of you, so I'll like sometimes lower this so that we're all sort of even. So
I
there we
feel
go.
like you're really tall, Lori. Are you
But
tall?
she's not. I always think that. Then when she's standing next to me, she's like my height. I
See,
think
I
her
don't see it.
I'm about
torso
five
It's
tall.
six.
her. It's her carriage. It's her presence.
Oh
Yeah.
my, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I'm
her
about
presence.
5'6". So is my
Oh, so you are
presence
tall.
like tall, like supermodel, like 5'10" and like skinny? Because that works for me. Like
Yes, yes, that's
okay.
what I see when I
Oh,
look
but
at
you
you.
know what though? The bad thing is that when I'm live, then it's going to be disappointing to people. People are going
Mm,
to be like, "Oh my God,
yeah,
she's short and
yeah.
pudgy." Like what the
You know
hell?
what? And that's why I say I am a Picasso and a Botello model before the skinny thing became a thing. When they
Exactly.
only
Botticello. You mean
painted,
Botticelli? You mean
no,
Botticelli?
no, the Colombian
Oh, okay.
Botello. He
thought you
always
were saying it
painted
wrong.
wide hips, poochie pouch, you know, real realistic
Voluptuous. You're
size
voluptuous.
women.
And Chanel says, Karen, good morning, Karen. You look fine that large on the
You
screen.
do. You-
Thank you, Chanel.
Oh
She's
my
very kind.
God. And good morning, Elitza. Good morning. And all right. So Karen, introduce yourself to the tribe and then we'll get going on this conversation because this is a really, really interesting take on this for this month, this breast cancer awareness month. So introduce yourself first and tell everybody why this is so important to you too.
Sure. So my name is Karen Sammer, as the Buddha told you. And I am a certified nutrition and health coach. And I started on this journey when I developed breast cancer in 2009. And it was an aggressive form of breast cancer. So I had to go through some pretty nasty treatment. And when that happened, I was in a really bad physical, mental, emotional place. I was really stressed in my job. I was extremely overweight. I had all this stuff going on. I was eating too much. I was drinking too much. I was doing too much of all the bad things and none of the good things, never exercising, working late hours. And so it was no surprise to me that this happened because, a lot of cancers are as a result of how we treat our bodies for many years, as I'm sure both of you know. So I went through the treatment and started to do some research and decided that I wanted to change my life and not let this happen again. So I lost 135 pounds, and I found out that one of the main contributors to cancer development is eating processed sugar, and because it really lights up cancer cells, they love it. And so, eliminating processed sugar sounds like a really good idea, but it's a very difficult thing to do, as anybody who has tried to do it has found out. Yes. It actually, because sugar is a drug, and it really treats your body as a drug would treat your body. So eliminating it causes withdrawal symptoms. Fortunately, I felt so crappy anyway because I was going through chemo that I didn't notice the withdrawal. So I did it, but it was a huge game changer for me. But I also, after I got better, my health and my energy started to improve. I decided to participate in one of the big events for breast cancer awareness. And I didn't do a lot of homework about it. So once I found out after the fact, I raised $11,000 for them. I was fresh off of chemo. I was the poster child for "Don't let this happen to you." And so people were very generous and they donated well to me. But I participated in the walk. And what was really off-putting to me, they set this walk up through the city of Philadelphia, and they take you through all these beautiful neighborhoods, and it was a lot of fun. But every so often you'd come to a display of buttons and ribbons and propaganda, and all of these buttons sexualized breast cancer, like "Save the Tatas," "Don't lose second base." I don't even know what they were anymore. "I stare because I care." I mean, these things were repelling to me. I mean, I just, you're talking about a diseased part of someone's body that very likely was removed, but you're sexualizing it, and that really just I get so incensed when I think about that. And there's so much of that marketing and so much of that propaganda that talks about the sexualization of the part of a woman's body that is to provide nourishment for a newborn child. But it also is part of our body that is attached to a lot of our identity. And there's so many women that would rather not lose their breasts. Of course, nobody wants to lose any part of their body, but it is their identity is so wrapped up in the way their body looks that it really has a huge negative impact on them when they go through this. And it's also disfiguring. And I was very fortunate. I had a lumpectomy, because now they do try to minimize the damage to the body in the surgery. But years ago, you'd lose a breast and half the side of your body.
Yes, they would remove the pec muscle and everything. Yeah, they didn't give a rat's ass about how, and it was very disfiguring.
Not only was it disfiguring, but it was also disabling.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you would lose the use of that
Yep.
side of your body pretty much, your arm and whatever.
Right.
And even now, so I had a lumpectomy, and I had one lymph node removed to check to make sure it didn't leave my breast tissue. I was very fortunate; everything was contained in the breast tissue. But I am always, for the rest of my life, I am at risk for developing lymphedema because of that. But there are some people who have many lymph nodes taken out, and they're constantly. And lymphedema is not insignificant. It can be a horrible thing. So anyway, I kind of digress, but I went through this walk, and then I found out later on that this particular organization did not hold the same belief system that I do. And I also found out through some more research is that these organizations, they have very highly paid executives. They have a huge legal budget to protect their trademark, to protect the languaging that they use. The specific terminology you're not allowed to use outside of the, just keeping their love alive. And so all of these funds that you think that you are giving them to support breast cancer research or finding the cure or whatever is not necessarily funding that. A lot of it is funding all this other stuff, all these big salaries and fancy titles, and like I said, the trademark the trademarked terminology and the pictures, and you can't use this particular ribbon, and they have very specific designs of their ribbon, and so and what funding is given or used for actual breast cancer stuff, it's usually about awareness, it's about education, which is great, it's about underserved communities, also great. But how about prevention? How about talking about prevention, or talking about lifestyle or stress management or dietary things? These are actually things that can contribute to prevention. Managing your diet the right way, eating the right kinds of food, keeping your body at a healthy weight. All of these, exercising, managing the stress level in your life, because these things, when they're not done or not done well, they contribute to the development of cancer cells in your body. Because cancer is, it's most disease, and Lori, you can speak to this, but most disease is based on inflammation, including cancer. There's, inflammation contributes to almost every disease that we find in our body.
Well, and so in cancer and heart disease and diabetes, all of them are lifestyle, totally lifestyle. There is a genetic element and predisposition. And so if we go to that route and say, oh, well, I have a genetic predisposition, it runs in my family, but genes still have to be turned on. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, genes are turned off. Those genes are off when you're a child. And because children aren't born, with the few exceptions, they're not generally born with cancer. They're not born with heart disease. They're not born, and heart disease and diabetes, they're not born with. If they're born with heart disease, because they have a congenital developmental problem, but they're not born with that stuff. And the cancers that children do get are not the cancers generally that adults get. They could get them, I'm sorry, because you get leukemias, but it's usually a different form of leukemia, or it could, even if it's the same type, children do not, they get basically usually leukemia and brain cancer. So all these other cancers are more common to lifestyle, right? And so what happens is that our defense system in our bodies work to battle anything that is not supposed to be in there, whether it's a virus or a bacteria. And a cancer cell is a mutation of a cell that already exists in your body. So what happens is, as your cell divides, it divides improperly, but then it all of a sudden, because it's being manipulated by the outside source, the lifestyle, whatever. It's the smoke you're breathing in, it's the foods you're taking in, the chemicals, and it mutates, but then it starts to replicate itself. And cancer cells replicate a lot faster than our normal cells. And then what happens is our defense line takes care of these cells. There's set cells that recognize mutated cells, and they take them out. They take them out of the mix. And the problem is that as long as they could keep up, I always think of it as like Pac-Man, as long as they could keep up with the cells, it's great. But if those cells start multiplying at a faster rate than the defense cells could keep up, that's how cancer comes. And that's why it is our lifestyle. It is the foods that we're putting into our system. And the problem is that I think most people do know it's lifestyle. They do. I think they know, but they're not willing to admit that what's being produced commercially on a regular basis is contributing to it, because why would anybody want to make things that are going to kill us? And that's what we have to get out of our heads, is the fact that there are foods that are produced that knowingly they don't care what they do to the bodies, the manufacturer, because it's all about what the profit is. And so it's almost like it's feeding the beast. So if you're a cancer organization, you're not teaching people to make these really much healthier, like if you're not putting that much money into that piece of the education, then who are you helping? Are you helping the medical profession that's treating the disease, because they get the people that have the cancer? And that's not the conversation I want to have today anyway. I don't want any conspiracy stuff, because Gladiator Guru and I could just go on and on. We could have a whole full day workshop on stuff like this, but that's not the point of it.
I don't care who thinks if it's a conspiracy. I don't care. It's an opinion, and it's like Karen lived it. So I don't give a shit. Like, tell me, for every $100 that's donated to the breast cancer thing, how much of that is going towards research?
Very little. I don't know the exact number, excuse me, but a very small percentage. Like,
yeah, because in ALS,
single digit percentage.
For ALS, for every $100 that's donated, only $7 goes towards research. And yeah, and one of the ladies I used to deal with, she used to make $300,000 a year, but yet they couldn't give Eric a cushion, one of those ear cushions, so he wouldn't get bed sores, because we don't have any in our lending closet. So yeah, it was it gets ugly with that. And thank you for that information, Lori, because it's true. But I think the cure for cancer has already been provided, but they make more money with us being sick. And let's just talk. You're talking about the pinking, and I'll talk about the bluing, because that's what ALS's color is. When the Ice Bucket Challenge came out, that was created by somebody in Boston, an actual ALS individual. His family's created the Ice Bucket Challenge, and they made tons of money. People, like every family did it went viral. All the family members, saying, I am doing the Ice Bucket Challenge for Eric Chapman, or my uncle, or my father, or this. And they would do that, and then they would donate. Well, do you know that this organization wanted to coin that phrase for them, so that they would be the only one to ever use the Ice Bucket Challenge? So go ahead. I said I wasn't going to talk about mine.
No, but it's true. It's absolutely true. I don't think breast cancer is not. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that, the only kind of breast cancer, and I can't speak to ALS, and I know that is a horrible disease, but I think generally, we have to identify, like, what is really meaningful. Like, so with breast cancer, the only breast cancer that kills is metastatic breast cancer. And I believe that's probably the same for any cancer, maybe not brain cancer, but anything, once it leaves the tissue that it originated in, then it doesn't, it can go anywhere. And that's the type of cancer that needs to be really researched and just funded, so that we can do something to manage it. Because you know what, to your point, Guru, cancer is never gonna be cured, because if it's cured, you're gonna collapse the economy. We could go down that rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure we want to do that, but if we can make it a manageable chronic illness, people stay alive. They'll be on medication the rest of their life, because that's what medicine, Western medicine requires, is that you take pills. But they'll stay alive. The medical community will be thriving. The medical device companies will have a field day. Everybody will be funded and wealthy, but people will stay alive. So that's what I think. That's what the the companies are doing, is that they're looking for a way to make it a chronic illness rather than something that they're going to cure. Because you cure it, then then there's no need for them anymore. Like there you have a finite kind of period of time.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it would just, I think it would.
It's a dependence. Absolutely. It creates a dependence. It's not saying that, even with any type of cancer, whether it's breast cancer or something else, it's when you hear of these individuals who, like, whatever they did, they could have went traditional, they could have went allopathic medicine, they could have went homeopathic or natural, or they could have had a combination, but all of a sudden the cancer's gone. And it's a catch-22 because the doctors like to celebrate and say, oh my God, the cancer's gone, you've been cured, blah, blah, blah. And they're happy in one way. So they're talking out of their mouth one way, happy. But then they'll say, but don't say so much that you're cured, because they're really, you never know with cancer. You never know. And it's like it plants kind of that seed that, okay, we always have to be like vigilant and sometimes even hyper vigilant about looking forward and saying, okay, well, and then the funny part is they don't sit there and say to you, well, and I don't want to knock out, because I've met some very amazing medical doctors where they have been all about what you put in your body. And they've been very adamant about that. They'll flat out tell you, you need to eat this, you need to eat that, you need to throw this, anything in your cabinets that has this, throw it out, and then they'll say, if you want to stay cancer free, you have to continue on this lifestyle. But not all of them do that, and that's the key piece. We focus, like, the irony is, right? So when you're talking about the title, the pinking of America, there's ribbons, the pink everywhere. My daughter, it's this all week at school, she wore pink yesterday, brought $1 in, and then today they're coloring the ribbons, and she's, so, and they sell the cookie, the pink ribbon cookie. And the funny part is
the sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes. The very thing that's going to kill you. Yeah. Has the pink ribbon on it. That was another part of my what I was going to talk about. You see fried chicken, which is cooked in rancid, overused oil that's highly refined, heated to high temperatures, and carcinogenic because of all of that.
Because
you see it on energy drinks. We know what energy drinks do to bodies. You see it on garbage cans. You see it on all kinds of things. Just because something has a pink ribbon on it does not mean that breast cancer of any kind and any kind of breast cancer support is there. Anybody, you can put a pink ribbon on anything and sell it. People think that they're doing something good for breast cancer or any other. I think we've just lost Gladiator Guru, it looks like. But anybody is, anybody can put a pink ribbon on something and make you think that you are supporting a cause that is beneficial, where absolutely none of the money may be going to breast cancer. So you want to really make sure that you understand where the funding is going, and what it's supporting. Because if it's not supporting something that you believe in, direct your funds elsewhere. I mean, there are organizations that are truly that are funded or that are run by volunteers, so that there are no salaries. They don't have a big marketing budget. They don't have a big legal defense fund. And their funds are used to pursue either a management or a cure or whatever you want to call it of metastatic cancer.
Yes,
which is what you want. That is really where your money is going to be best spent. And I have an organization that I'm happy to talk about at the end of this if you'd like.
Okay, that would be fabulous. Yeah. I want to just write what Kimberly Winters put. She put, there used to be a private garbage recycling company that had pink garbage cans with ribbons on it. There's no limit to where they'll put those pink ribbons.
She's absolutely right.
And one thing I want to speak about that, and thank you, Kimberly, for posting that sometimes it's not the individual's fault or the company's fault that chooses to do this. I think they have the best intentions. They want to show that they support what's going on. They want to show that they support the cause, and they don't necessarily know the deeper pieces like you do. Like it's just like saying, I want to do something, like My causes, it's the irony is that I was going to actually do a post on this today. Thinking back to when I was younger, my causes, like when you get older, you start to come into the causes of health because it becomes more real to you.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was more environmental, it was more animal rights, and it still is, but we jump on and say, oh, well, like let's say the World Wildlife Federation or the ASPCA or something like that, and the Humane Society. And so you look at those organizations, you go, oh, that they help animals. And you have to, again, you still have to do your research because you want to make sure that these, again, are they going to the money donated going to just pay high salaries, or are they actually making a difference, And sometimes it's not easy to find that, and it's exhausting. You just want to say, I want to be able to say that I support this. So I love the fact that you're going to share an organization to at the end. But let's talk about the awareness piece. So for those individuals that are, and don't feel bad if you're that person that has been wearing the pink this week and the ribbon. We're not like trying to trash you. Like, don't think that's not the case here. It's like good that you're supporting. The question comes into play is, if somebody were to ask you, why are you wearing that shirt? Or why do you have that pink ribbon? The question is, what are you going to say to them? What are you going to say? That I'm supporting this. Okay. And why? What does that mean to you? What does that look like to you? So let's talk about the awareness. Let's talk about the, what it means. Like what is the real true meaning behind the pinking of America? Let's talk about
so there are a couple, and everybody knows, I think, the biggest organization. I'm not going to name any names, but that excuse me, their symbol is, like I said, highly defended. And but the pink ribbon is really about that. In the purest reason for it is to bring awareness to something that almost everybody has been impacted by, right? 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer or be affected by it in her lifetime. There are men that develop breast cancer.
Right.
It's much smaller percentage. It's 1% of all cases usually. But the awareness is great, but you have to bring, with awareness, you have to bring education. You have to teach people how to manage their bodies so that they don't have to face this. And then you have to make the resources available to them to learn about stress and learn about nutrition and learn about getting good quality sleep, and also giving them the resources or the ability to not have such a stressful life. There's a whole, everything in our society contributes to the development of these chronic illnesses and these conditions in our bodies, because our lifestyle is not, our big food, big pharma, the big industries thrive on us staying alive longer, right? Because they want us to stay alive longer, so they will medicate us to do that. Quality of life may not be so great, but if you can stay alive longer, excuse me, with one of these conditions, you were going to be funding the company that's providing the medication for you. You're going to be funding the companies that have the medical devices when you have to go back for treatment every so often. You're going to be funding, if you're eating junky food because you don't know any better, and you're in a food desert, which is a whole other situation. We could just do this forever.
Yes, we can. Yep.
But and the only thing that's available to you is the stuff that comes out of a box or a bag or a can. That these things just, I don't know. There's this whole infrastructure issue, I think, that really everything needs to be overhauled. But the pink, I'm sorry, I digress. But the pink ribbon, the awareness and not just the pink ribbon, all of the color ribbons. I think it started with the red ribbon for AIDS. If you remember, you guys probably aren't old enough to remember, but way back when AIDS was first discovered, if you will, it was something that nobody wanted to be around. It's kind of like the thing that's going on now. Nobody wants to be around somebody who had AIDS because you didn't know if you could catch
Yep,
it.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was and so the entertainment industry was very highly impacted by it. So they all started wearing the red ribbons, and that's really what started the ribbon campaigns, I believe, for all the other different types of illnesses. But I think, and I think that they are wonderful. I think it is, and to your point, Lori, about people wearing pink, they're wearing pink because they feel strongly about about supporting someone
Yes,
or everyone who has been impacted by breast cancer.
correct.
And that's lovely. But when you are buying something, thinking that whatever you're buying because it has a pink ribbon on it, that the money that you're paying for that, whatever that thing is or that food is, that any of that money is going to the organization that you think it is, or an organization. And if it even does go to an organization that is in support of breast cancer, what exactly is it that they're supporting? So rather than purchasing something that has a pink ribbon on it, I would suggest that maybe you donate directly to an organization that is going to be impactful. It's going to do what you want it to do. Now, if those big companies or those big organizations are doing what you want them to do, then donate, but donate directly to them. Don't buy something that's got a pink ribbon because you think that the vendor who's selling the pink ribbon item is going to be donating that money. And the vendor may have nothing to do with it. It may be just something that they got in from their supplier, but ultimately, whoever painted the pink ribbon on the item is giving you the message that some of that money is going to a breast cancer organization that's going to be supportive of people with breast cancer. Not always the case.
So why don't you go ahead and talk about the organization that you recommend, and then we'll sort of have a conversation off of that.
Sure. So I lost a very good friend to breast cancer. I've lost several people as I've gone through this journey. I've met many women who have struggled and really were warriors. They were just amazing. And one in particular, she was frontline. I'm telling you, if there was going to be somebody who was arrested for her just her representation, she would have been it, because she was always there. They used to do die-ins on the lawn in front of Congress building in West, and she was in late stage 4 cancer. I mean, this was weeks before she passed away, but and so she was involved with an organization called Metaviver. Metaviver is at the time that they came into existence, they were the only organization that was that supported research or provided did research for or funded research for metastatic breast cancer. And that's the thing, there's very little discussion about that. And the reason for that is because the statistics are really low for people who, once it's metastasized, things are going to go south rather, relatively quickly, I think. So Metaviver funds and supports the research and, on metastatic breast cancer, which is what we need more of. They need to talk more about that. They need to talk about supporting people who have it, finding a way to keep them alive, and medicating. Medication is really what they're going to go for, because that's what they do. But also, supporting them by giving them nutritional information, supporting them by giving them lifestyle tips, teaching them how to manage their stress, teaching them how to get a good night's sleep. If a lot of people don't sleep well, especially when you're going through chemo. And my days and nights were all upside down when I was going through chemo, because I'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning watching stupid cooking shows or something, because I couldn't, and it took me a couple of years to get my sleep back together. But these are things like teaching people what foods they should eat to support their healthy cells, and how to exercise, and just how to take care of your body, because you're having these chemo side effects. That, by the way, is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Here I am 12 years out, and I'm still feeling the effects of chemo. So.
But going back to the nutrition, when Eric was diagnosed with ALS, he was given a 2 to 5 year lifespan. And so he had the physical therapist, the OT, the dietitian, the nutritionist, all, they all, once every 3 months, he, like 5 hours in the doctors, because they all came in, right? And so I had this really big argument. And so they really hated when Eric had an appointment because, I was his hands, feet, and his mouth. They told him, I know this is hard, but just, eat whatever you want. You shouldn't put a limit. And I said, are you kidding me? So what, he's going to be paralyzed, but feel every itch and pain and won't be able to do anything about it. And then he's going to get diabetes on top of that. And whatever else, him eating whatever he wants is going to affect him. And they never, exactly what you're saying, they don't encourage you to be mindful. They don't encourage you. What's 50% of the cure for anything?
Is what you put in.
A positive attitude.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You have a big impact on that. Yeah.
If you don't have that, if you're going through this thing, you've just been given the news, right? So there's no follow-up with emotions that go to help you kick its ass, whatever the disease may be.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. They want to promote, and then they wanted us to buy this $1,200 a month pill, excuse my sister's dogs, to extend his life. So they kept encouraging, and then I did the research, and I finally said, so you want him to live 3 additional miserable years, not even, because they don't even, from 3 months to 3 years, so he can buy this medicine. So we barely took any of the medicines, and it was the positive attitude and prayer, because I believe in prayer. God's not going to come down and sit in your house and say, okay, I healed you. We're not Lazarus. That was just one part of what the story is. But it does encourage you to keep a faith, to believe there's something bigger and there's something better. Because as the badass Buddha mentioned in the beginning about intentions, everybody starts out with these good intentions. What we must remember when we're dealing with this, when we experience what we've experienced with these positive intentional, take a pill, shut up and take a pill, throw your head back and swallow, is that, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. So it's really up to the individual to say, this is where I'm at. I got cancer, I got ALS, I got HIV, I fucking got, bipolarism. It doesn't matter. This is where I'm at. So what am I going to do for me so that I can mentally navigate through this and still come out on the other side, whether it's to take my last breath or not, but come out on the other side proud of myself for bringing myself to that point. And I think that's what they don't teach enough.
Right. Can I make a comment on that too? Because I think that when the medical profession says to the individual who's either terminal or has a severe chronic condition, they usually say, especially terminal, they'll say, eat whatever you want. And the reason they say it, I think most of the time, has to do with the fact that, number one, that is what they would do, because eating whatever you want makes the person feel good, that I don't have that much time on this planet, so I might as well just enjoy whatever little life that I have. And so if they're coming sometimes from a place of, like, this is what they're taught to say, and then also from the place of the emotional piece of it, that, like, you might as well just enjoy your life, rather than saying, listen, you got to do what's right for you. If you want to live a good, for the time that you're here, if you want to have a better quality of life, these are the changes that I would suggest you make. And listen, when you first started caring about the sugar addiction and all that stuff, and that shit is so real, it's ridiculous. And here's the deal. It's just like any addiction. If a person is coming off of an addiction, they are going to suffer. And if it's too much for them mentally and emotionally, then I say this: you do what works for you. If you want to live the last bit of your life having those hot fudge sundaes, like, and eating the pizza, that is up to you, but you have to make that decision and say, this is how I want to live. And nobody around you can sit there and say otherwise. Honestly, like a medical professional can't say to you, well, I would recommend that you do this. It's just like I wouldn't want them to tell me to go eat the hot fudge sundae, and I'm saying, well, I actually rather do this coffee enema and a colonic irrigation all the time, like X amount of times, and I want to do this and eat this way. And they say, oh, don't bother. Why bother to do that? I'd be like, go fuck yourself. Like I'm going to do what I want to do. So, but the question is that you have to look at within yourself. So for those of you that have a chronic or terminal condition or know somebody, then you present it to them and say, look within yourself and say, what is best for me? Ask yourself, what is best for me? Gladiator Guru was Eric's voice, but she knew him enough to know what was best for him. She wasn't making her own agenda. She just knew him well enough to know that he, maybe if he was with somebody else, he would go and have eaten any of that other junk, but he knew deep down inside what he really wanted. And she knew that. And he created a positive attitude. She made sure that he put quality food into his body. And so that they knew he had a death sentence. ALS is a death sentence. There's no question. They give you that prognosis, and they give you that range because that's the reality. 2 to 6 years. That's usually what they say. And because that's what it is. So you're going to, and because of that particular disease, he felt everything. And she's right. You're going to give him let him eat these foods that are going to give him rashes on his body that's itching so badly that he can't even scratch himself because, and some of them can't even speak to tell you that he didn't lose his ability to speak, but some can't even tell you that they're itchy. So, or they're in pain. So why not help them along with a better quality of stuff? But again, I think it's a combination of, we also have that mindset. I'm going to die anyway. I might as well just really enjoy the rest of my life. And then the enjoyment is the crap food. Like I enjoy eating the crap food. They're not saying crap food necessarily, but they're saying I enjoy eating this. Why should I give it up if I'm going to not live anyway? And I do understand that concept. I mean, I understand coming from that, but without telling that somebody's listen, but you're going to be here for X amount of time. And maybe you could reverse this. That's the other piece is that is not talked about enough too, because medical profession does not like, oh, well, you don't want to give them false hope. You don't want to, it's like, who cares? Who cares? If somebody says you have a terminal illness and you say, well, I don't know, I'm going to beat this. Well, I hope you can. Like, they don't believe you. But it's like, it's not fair. It's like,
but beating it is not fair. But you're going to find an asshole in every crowd.
Oh,
That's why you have to take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to know yourself. And that's where my whole spiritual and creative healing modality for my life coaching came from me being a caregiver. And knowing that you must feed your spirit. And I say this all the time because I lived it and I know it. You feed your spirit. And if you feed your spirit with all positivity, we're all born to die. It's what happens in between. And then you do exactly. If you choose to eat the Sundays, then do it. But when they say, well, I'm going to die anyway. Well, we're all going to die anyway. But why don't we change that narrative and says, but I want to live. I'm going to live my best life until I die. And the difference between Eric and I is he had an end date. I don't. So do I want to die all inflamed and bloated? No, I don't. So that's where, the sugar cut and the blessing of like the monk fruit for me, it's really phenomenal because I only use one packet, if that. And I don't like sweets, but then you know what, Karen, I like the cheeseburgers. So it's all about balance and it's all about making wise choices. And I think that we need more Karens in the world to stand up for, our breastises and the care for our own breasts and learning alternative. Yeah, we live here in America, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean we have to pop every fucking pill they come out with.
That's right.
Because we have a disease.
That's
I saw it with my granddaughter when she had a 50-50 chance when she was diagnosed with leukemia at 6. And that's what they say, oh, just monitor her. She's a thriving 18-and-a-half-year-old. But what happens is some people make it out of it, but I believe everybody has their moment. Everybody has to leave a legacy, and Karen's legacy is that she survived it, and she can share her experience, and she can still say it took her many years to actually fall asleep, because chemo is like, if you're on fire, I've heard people tell me their skin just burns from the inside out and all that. So there's a lot that goes on that's not said. So don't be fooled by the pinking.
Right. Exactly. It's not, it cutesies it up.
Yeah. There's a question for you too. So
yeah.
Chanel wanted to know, Relay for Life, how do you feel about this organization? Is it another one that puts money in the wrong places?
Well, so I don't want to speak to specific organizations just because I don't want anybody to sue me. But I'm going to say that any of these great big machines of organizations where they have a lot of staff, they have these big organized events, chances are that a lot of the funding is going towards that kind of thing. So, I don't want to go further than that. If you want to, I'm not suggesting that if you want to walk in a, because I believe that's a walk or a run or something like that. If you want to go and represent and be somebody who is supportive of people who have breast cancer, then I say go for it. Do it. Although I do think that they have a funding minimum that you have to use. You have to provide in order for you to participate in those things. But I'll tell you, when I did the 3-day, and when I did that, there were tons of breast cancer survivors. You know what kind of food they had? They had sandwiches on white bread with processed meat. I had already stopped eating meat at that time, so my alternative was cheese. I didn't eat that either. So there was no, there were and little wrapped cupcakes or snack foods. There was nothing.
Pink frosting? With pink frosting.
Yes, of course. With ribbons, the ribbon on it. But so to the point that you were making, Guru, it's about empowerment, right? It's about taking control of you. If eating hot fudge sundaes from now until the day you die is what's going to make you happy, then go forth and eat whatever you want to do. First of all, I don't like the idea that a doctor puts an expiration date on somebody.
Yeah.
How do you know I'm not going to survive this? How do you know that I'm going to die within your allotted amount of time? But then also, if somebody listens to that, because so many people put, they see the white coat and that becomes God, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah. And the doctor says, I'm going to die within 6 years. Okay, well, then I better do that.
Or it's the opposite. Some people just be like, F you, I'm not.
Yeah, well, I would be that way. I think
there's another question too. So Gwen Lord said, I may have missed this, but how do you feel about people who do not want chemo for breast cancer?
I think you're taking control of your own life. I think that it really, it's everybody has their own path.
Yes.
How do I feel about it? I feel like it is your life and you do what you want to do with it. I chose the path that I chose because I didn't know any better. Would I do it again? I don't know. I have no intentions of being in that situation again. And so I won't have to make that decision. But if it is what makes you feel like you're doing everything that you can, then do it. It's not, I'm not here to tell anybody to do it or not do it. I'm here to tell you what my beliefs are and what I feel like supporting your body to prevent is a whole lot more effective than trying to get rid of it once it's here. Because once it has taken hold, there's stuff that goes on. If everybody's got cancer cells in their body. Yeah, we know that. Everybody's got dormant. Yeah. But we have those killer cells that go out. I guess it's the T cells. I'm not really good with the biology.
Me neither.
But
I could go in a whole lesson on that. But
I know you can. But those immune cells go after those cancer cells. But it's when the cancer cells get more powerful than your immune system is when you run into trouble.
Right.
But if you support your immune system, you may very well be able to prevent that from happening. And so isn't it a better idea to take care of yourself before that diagnosis, and just make it part of your life. I mean, I think that we put so much emphasis on the enjoyment of food, and I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't enjoy food, because that is, that just like we enjoy sex, just like we enjoy anything
Oh,
else.
shut up! I'm celibate. But you're right, and I know that.
But
No,
it is made to be enjoyable, so that we keep the population going, right?
Enjoy, yes.
Yeah. Food is made to be enjoyable, so we keep ourselves alive. If we didn't like to eat, we'd all die of starvation.
Right.
Yeah, we just got to learn how to eat for fuel and not for comfort. And that's with this chiral thing with the badass. It's not even so much. At first, I was like, wait, I don't have a scale here at my sister's since I'm in Connecticut, but it was like it became an obsession. And then I realized that it's about how good I felt with how I was eating and the intermittent fasting and giving my body time to breathe. But I know we got to go, so I just wanted to go real quick back to what you were saying when with Chanel's question. I absolutely agree. I will walk any ALS walk that is available because I walk in his honor. I don't do the fundraising. I'm not a team leader. I'm just going to take my happy jack behind there. I'm going to park. I'm going to have my Eric sign and I'm just going to walk it because that's what makes me feel good. And it's in honor of somebody who had to suffer that demonic disease. So go for it. If you believe in, if you want to donate, go for it because it's all about what you feel good about doing. But you know what? Keep an open mind and keep a positive spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thank you. This was very informative. Very. It triggered a lot of stuff, but it was getting me angry but it was just the truth about, how they work. We got to do a T-cell thing with the badass and we'll just be here with our prom-poms because it's very informative and this is stuff that a lot of people are not informed on in a regular show like we do. So thank you, Karen, for showing up with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
I can't wait till we go on a world tour with our book.
Oh, I can't wait. That'll be so much fun.
And I also just want to mention before we go too, Chanel put purple carrot as an outrageously tasty, super satisfying plant-based meal kit. So look into, and this is the whole power of the tribe is to share these things. We only know what we know. And so if we don't know what's out there, so we could say, well, I want to change my diet, but, I just don't know how, I don't know what. The how is sometimes it's training, it's coaching. Karen's a coach. I'm a coach. It's like we can coach you on stuff like that. But it's also about knowing what to purchase. It's very overwhelming. You get out there and you're online and they're like, this product is perfect and this product is good. And not all of them are exactly what they promote themselves to be. But in the end, if you want to simplify it, just if it's packaged, don't buy it. That's go as fresh as you can and there are exceptions to that rule. There's certain packages that are okay, but that's how you start. Look in your cabinet and see how much of it is frozen, like already prepped meals that I just heat up and put in the microwave. Those need to go. How much sugar is in something, anything with high sugar needs to go. But you could just start with that little bit, and then from there, if you need more assistance, that's when you start asking questions, and what's out there and what is better. And key terms to search are anti-inflammatory foods, anti-inflammatory food prep, anti-inflammatory recipes, anything that reduces inflammation. That's the start. And then you go from there.
And do it because, everything that excites us, it's not good for us. Like those hot French fries with hot sauce and that cheeseburger and that, all of that stuff that's like, ooh, anything in excess. But yeah, that's what you have to do. And you know what? I love when I don't feel bloated and the anti-inflammatory and it works, and fresh vegetables and fruits, it works. So try it, Chanel. I'm going to call you out on that. Tons of vegan recipes because even the smell of meat recently is making me sick. Karen, she said world tour, baby. And Karen, we got to get together. We got to do this again, Karen. So stay open because we will be having you on again before the end of the year, right, badass? Because this is, this is what we all need to be either reminded of because life tends to bombard us. and this or learn about. And as you see, we got it. So let's move forward and keep dressing those babies in pearls.
And and the other thing too is that for those of you, that's what's coming up. We're going to be doing a special presentation because the three of us here are the authors in an upcoming book that's going to be released in November called Her Badass Story. And so we will all be us three, and then there's 6 other authors, and we're going to be doing like a mini summit, and we're going to be talking about not exactly what we put in the book, but why. And, and this is really important. There's a reason why Karen's on this. There's a reason why Gladiator Guru and I are part of this book. It's empowering. And well, I don't know who to mention sometimes because I know some people were more of a surprise. So I'm not sure if I should mention other people, but anyway, but we will get there. So anyway, it's time to go. And Karen, thank you so much for coming on. We love you. We miss you. And listen, get your butt up here from Jersey on the 29th if you can,
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, just see what you can do.
I will.
So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming on. Have an absolutely beautiful weekend. Gladiator Guru, any last minute thing before we go?
No, I was going to have Karen say a little positive thing so then we close out.
Okay, there we go.
Just be you. Just do what makes you feel happy and go out and conquer the world.
Yes, I
world
love that.
Domination, ladies. That's what we need. We need to do world domination.
Power of pussy, right? Gladiator Guru, right?
There you go. I was gonna say that, but I love.
I haven't heard that this whole time. I haven't heard that yet.
Well, because I didn't want to take away from the other thing, but yes, and thank you. I love when I hear someone else say that because it's like, yes, that's my baby.
That's yours. That's right. That's right. All right, everyone, have an absolutely fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Mi gente, yes, have a great weekend. Remember to be magically orgasmic and breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste.